Faith is a lifestyle. It is the mountain on which you stand that makes you believe that a dream is actually attainable. It is the concrete evidence that makes the logically impossible seem completely tangible. It seemed hopeless, but faith. I can't prove it, but faith. I can't explain it, but my faith has given me peace.
I'm a Christian with $100 million vision. Can nobody box me and say that's a contradiction? Goal driven, God just blessed me with the ambition. Look up when there is, he rests the definition.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are here, and these are interesting times to say the absolute least. You know, I am, we're still here. We're still quarantined as we have been. And it's not seeming like it's going to end anytime soon. So I'm sorry for anybody that doesn't like being in the house. Us extroverts are going crazy. It's okay. Yesterday, I had an attempt. I was attempting to begin to try to unlock some of the mysteries of God and try to understand what he's trying to say to the people, these days. And very interesting. I thought to myself, yesterday I was thinking, what did God say to the different churches around, in the area, or the different churches that I'm connected to? What did God say? So in my attempt to decode the mysteries of God, yesterday on my social media page, I posted a question: what was your church motto coming into 2020? And that was my question. My question was, what was your church motto coming into 2020? And one thing that I asked a few years back is, how do all churches serve the same God but hear different things at the end of the year? And at the time, I couldn't really answer that question because the answer that I gave was just basic and kind of dumb. But as I've grown in the Lord, I understand how everything works in his own grace, and how God may have a different job for one house than he has for the other. And when you look at the bigger picture, it all works to build one kingdom. And so I posed the question, and you know what? If you guys didn't get an opportunity to post what your church's motto was coming into the year 2020, do it. Put a comment there and let me know, because I put these things together to understand what it is that the Lord is trying to do. And so I got so many answers. I can't name them all. I'm gonna name some of them, but when you begin to understand, like, oh, okay, the Lord can say something different to this person than he says to that person, but you begin to all understand how it works together. And I think it's like the coolest thing ever. So I got a lot of answers. I'm like I said, I'm only going to say a few of them. 2020, I got 2020 is the year of alignment. And I got that. Actually, I was from my own church. So thank you, Pastor Kimani C. Gilmer. But that was from the River Church. But I also got 2020 is the year of doing life together. I got 2020 is the year to calibrate. I got 2020 is the year of change. I got 2020 is the year of the demonstration. I got 2020 is the year of divine results. 2020 is the year to reset our kingdom agenda. That was a good one. I mean, they're all good, but that joint. 2020 is the year to reset our kingdom agenda. 2020 is the year of freedom. 2020 is the year of clear vision. And I got also now my man Jay Jones, who is the lead pastor at Zion Woodbridge. I'm sorry, I got to call you out on this, because he doesn't do the church motto things, but he does have a personal, he has his personal sort of motto that he hears from the Lord, and one that he shares with only his team, but he shared it with me. And he said 2020 is the year of clarity. And that meant a lot because other people said 2020 is the year of clear vision. And so when you understand that people that are spiritual begin to be are in sync with what the Lord is saying. And just because the Lord says something different to one person than he says to the other person, when you start to see them things, in action, it becomes wonderful, because now I begin to see some things as we're sitting here in the middle of this quarantine, and understanding that a lot of us are studying. Right, a lot of us are studying, and so we're bringing our lives into alignment, and that's how that 2020 being the year of alignment. Or the same thing when 2020 is the year of calibration, which is the same thing. Calibrate is to align. When you calibrate the heads on your ink, on your printer heads, you're aligning your printer head. That's the same thing. 2020 is the year of doing life together. I mean, when you sit here and you understand that I'm here, this virus happened, we're quarantined, and we just got nothing to do but sit around with the family and begin doing life together. And it's like, wow, 2020 is the year of change. I mean, what else is there to say? 2020 is the year of change. Oh, some things going to change at the end of this pandemic. 2020 is definitely the year of change. 2020, the year of demonstration. Come on. I mean, 2020, I said it 3 times. 2020 is the year of divine results. 2020 is a year to reset our kingdom agenda. I mean, the agenda has been reset. I mean, come on. I want everybody to know that just because, and you understand that the Lord is, I want to hear some more from you guys too, but understand that the Lord is really, he's doing, the way that he moves is not the way that we move. So when sometimes you just don't understand, and that's okay. That's okay, but the Lord is he has us all in our own grace, doing our own jobs for a reason. Just like it's the spider has his job on the earth, and the worm has his job. The earthworm has his job on the earth. They may never meet. They may not know of each other's existence, but they have a job in this earth. Man, it's so much, man. Listen, this is the Elevation Podcast, right? And we about to get, I got so much to talk about today. This is the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. Let's do it. Welcome to the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. We are here every Tuesday, 7:30 at www.shawnriffraff.com, or on my Facebook page, Shawn Riff-Raff, or my Facebook page, Shawn Riff-Raff Studios, or YouTube, Shawn Riff-Raff on YouTube, or, look up on your Roku, Shawn Riff-Raff Studios on your Roku, and the next, I think 2 months will be on Apple TV. You just look for Shawn Riff-Raff Studios, and of course, we'll have our Shawn Riff-Raff Studio app that will be built before the end of the summer. Today, if I had to name what I was calling this today, I don't even know what I would call it. Why? I see chaos. I see chaos on my left. I see it on my right. I see an entire system that has been disrupted. I can feel the fear of the people connected to that system because they know that their lives have been drastically altered. Not just for the moment, but for the foreseeable future. This virus did not just attack our health. It is attacking the very system that we rely upon for our health. And not only that, it's attacking our political systems, our economic system, our transportation system, our supply chains, our entertainment systems, our schooling systems, our business model. It has attacked our very worship encounters. This virus has touched every single part of your life. And even if you're fortunate enough to not physically catch the virus or know someone who physically caught the virus, no one across the world has avoided the touch of this virus in one way or another. We have most certainly been presented with an enemy. It is an enemy that you were not prepared for. It is an enemy that blindsided you. Our faith was in these systems so much that we don't know how to function when they all come to a halt simultaneously. And as much as I like to think of myself as an intellectual, and you may respect me as that, I believe that this moment is spiritual, and I'll tell you why. In this moment, the Lord has leveled the playing field between the influential and the unheard. The Lord has leveled the playing field between the rich and the poor. The Lord has leveled the playing field between the advanced and the beginner. Understand this, that at the end of this pandemic, we're just not going to simply go back to the way that it was before. It can't. And if that be the case that it can't, that life is not going to return to where it was. What are you going to do with this new life or this proverbial reset that you're about to undertake? And that is a question. What are you going to do with this new life or this proverbial reset that you're about to undertake? Because God allowed a level playing field for a reason. He allowed an enemy to pause the world's systems for his purpose and to understand that you are a part of his purpose. Understand that he allowed an enemy to pause the world's system for his purpose. And we've got to understand that we are part of his purpose. In 1 Samuel 17, the Israelites were ill-equipped to deal with the enemy that was Goliath. They did not have the tools, they did not have the weapons, and they did not practice for Goliath. They did not train for Goliath. They did not train for the kind of battle that type of battle that Goliath was going to bring to him. And for 40 days, every single morning, Goliath rose up and came out to remind the Israelites that they wasn't ready for this smoke. Period. 40 days. Every day, Goliath came out to remind the Israelites that they weren't ready. Now, we all know the story of David and Goliath. We all know how it went. We all know how it ended. You know, a shepherd boy. He had a slingshot. Stopped at the stream. Picked up a bunch of smooth rocks. Put one in the slingshot chamber. Cocked back. Shot that thing off. Killed Goliath on the first attempt. He picked up a few rocks. He actually only used one. Real easy kill. But the interesting thing to understand here is that God shook up the system. The Israelites didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to turn to. They didn't know, all they knew was that they couldn't defeat what they didn't understand. And for 40 days, they were under the oppression of this thing, to say, for lack of better terms, the oppression of this thing. For 40 days, this giant coming out challenging them, send somebody out here to fight me. 40 days. And it's like, why did God do all that? Why did God shut it all down? And one thing that I have sort of gotten out of this text over time, because as a child you learn the story of David and Goliath, and when you get a little bit older, you begin to understand something. God sent the enemy not to destroy Israel, but to show Israel who their king was. I'll say that again. God sent an enemy not to destroy Israel, but to show Israel who their king was. Had they just gone on with business as usual, they would have overlooked David the shepherd. He was young. He wasn't, in their eyes, he wasn't king material. They would have overlooked David the shepherd. Going on with their regular business as usual, they would have overlooked David the shepherd. But God had to disrupt their system. He had to disrupt their normal day-to-day, how they did business. He had to shut it down to show Israel who David was. And in that, I begin to think this virus is not going to kill off the human race. It is not going to be the end. This is not it for you. And to be perfectly honest, and looking at the timing of how long pandemics last, historically have last, it's going to be over really before you know it. But if you take this moment on this level playing field, stay in your house, seek God, study, plan, prepare. He's about to show some people who you are. I'll say that again. Stop pretending, stop trying to go out and pretend like it's business as usual. It's not. Stay in your house. Study, show yourself approved, start your business, tap into that COVID funding, write your book, work on your script, take classes. Don't have money for classes? So what? Watch every YouTube video possible on your subject. Take this time and prep for the place that God's trying to put you at. I'll tell you why. Because the great reset is happening. The great reset is happening right under your nose. The great reset is happening. God's given you a gift that he's not given former generations. He has given you the gift of time. That's a gift that he hasn't given former generations. Most people don't understand that God is giving you the gift of time. On the other end of this, if you have used that gift to prep for your destiny, when we do come out of this thing, which we are going to come out of this thing, when we do come out of this thing, he's going to show some people who you are. You wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do that before. You wouldn't have gotten why? Because the system was working in a way they were never going to look at you. And now we all in the same playing field. Now we all in the same place. He's about to show some people who you really are. He's about to platform you. In order to do that, he had to shut some things down. He had to redo some things. I call this the Great Reset. I don't believe I don't believe that, you know, everything that happens bad is some trick of the enemy or the end of the world. Yeah, we are living in the last days and all of that, but I don't believe everything that happens is some trick of the enemy or because it's the last days. And actually, he is resetting, realigning. He is resetting, realigning. He is calibrating. And through a demonstration, he's resetting the kingdom agenda. Y'all got to have some clear vision, some clarity, Jay. some clarity. Because what the Lord's about to do is he's about to platform some people who take this time to study, take this time to build, take this time to plan, use this season to plan what you're about to do, how you going to get to it, how we going to fund it, how we going to plan what you're about to do. Because when we come out into that next season, it's not going to be business as it was in the last season. Things will change. And you kind of already know because they have been changing. You kind of already know because this is what's been happening. Things will change. This is the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. I'll be back. Faith is a lifestyle. It is the mountain on which you stand that makes you believe that a dream is actually attainable. It is a concrete evidence that makes the logically impossible seem completely tangible. It seemed hopeless, but faith. I can't prove it, but faith. I can't explain it, but my faith has given me peace.
I'm a Christian with $100 million vision. Can nobody box me and say that's a contradiction? Goal driven, God just blessed me with the ambition. Look up when there is the definition.
Welcome back to the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff. I'm ultimately thankful. And like I said last week, thankfulness is just where I'm at. I'm at gratitude. Thankfulness just ultimately about what the Lord is doing, even though it doesn't look like, even though the situation looks grim. I remember, a lot of times I just remember, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I walk through a dark place, through a dark valley. I still fear no evil, because he's with me. But I remember that in this moment, the biggest asset that I could possibly have in my life is gratitude. Where I am right now in my life is so much different than where I was last year, and the gratitude that I have. The gratitude that I have about the things that the Lord is building, and all my prayer was to him is just to stay in the place that he wanted me to be. And staying in the place that he wanted me to be, I allowed him to build. And I have the most gratitude. I have gratitude for everyone who has supported me, everyone who has supported the Elevation Podcast. I have a lot of gratitude for you guys. Everyone who comes on every week and watches and engages with us, I thank you. We are, I don't even know what show. This is the 20th show, the 19th show. I don't know. But I am ultimately thankful. Thankful that you have stuck it out with me and you have stayed here with me. There are gonna be some things coming. Like, I hope you guys can enjoy it on Roku. If you got a Roku box, if you got Apple TV should be up. Like I said, in the next month or so, and then we're gonna have our mobile apps that'll be up, sometime by the end of the summer. But ultimately, thank you guys for everything. This is the Elevation Podcast. My name is Shawn Riff-Raff, and I will see you next Thursday, 7:30. I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Y'all know what I was saying. Next Tuesday, 7:30. I may have someone on, I may not. I don't know. It all depends. So next Tuesday, 7:30, be back here. Thank y'all so much for just hanging out with me. I can't tell you how much gratitude I have for every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much. All right, peace.